Good afternoon, everybody. I have another gun that I wanted to show you. I picked this up several years ago. Actually, I built it myself. This is a Polymer 80 lower I picked up not long after they came out, or at least got fairly large. And I wanted one. I bought a drill press and finished the thing out myself. I've had no issues with it. Actually, most of this gun's rounds, over 1,000 of them, have been suppressed. I've shot around 1,500 rounds through it, so I've had zero, and I mean zero, malfunctions. So since YouTube hates when we take them apart, I'm going to show you it taking it apart. There's no bullet in the chamber, so there we go. And voila, it is apart. So, like I said, I did get the lower from Polymer 80 back several years ago. I got all the trigger components through the Glock store back when they were still in San Diego exclusively. Now they're actually in Nashville. So if you're in the Nashville area, they are over on Air Lane Drive. For some strange reason, I keep calling it Airhead Drive, but it's actually Air Lane Drive, which is off of Elm Hill Pike. Just type in Glock store, you will find it. All the lowers, all trigger, the safety, all came from the Glock store. I did mill the rest of this out. You can kind of see where I took my Dremel tool to it. Finished it all off. You'd be surprised, actually, some of this stuff I did with just a pair of tin snips, or not tin snips, but side angle pliers, what we used to call dikes, but that's not politically correct anymore, so I'm not going to call them dikes because I don't want to offend anybody. So, I got this guide rod. This is a standard weight guide rod for a Glock. This is actually built on the Gen 3, so that's why you have a single captive spring. This is the tungsten guide rod, which I picked up at the Glock store. The barrel I picked up, take off my suppressor cap here. I picked this barrel up at another one of my favorite shooting ranges. It is fluted. This is a Lone Wolf threaded barrel, and I got that out at the Royal Range. So that's where I picked up my barrel. I also picked up the Holosun from the Royal Range. I actually got that back last year. I want to say last March. I picked it up at the Royal Range. This is the 507C and set up in the green. Has suppressor height sights. These are actually Trijicons. Don't ask me which ones they were, but that's what I did put on this one. I got the Pirate here. Arr! Ha ha ha. For my back cover, and all the rest of the trigger components in here I did purchase through the Glock store. So everything on this, as far as those components, I got through the Glock store. The slide I actually got on sale. They were running a sale at Brownells back several years ago, and that's when I picked that one up. So I mean, 3-dot night sights, a Holosun 507 in the green. This is a full size, what I would call a go-to-war weapon. It's actually on my go-to-war belt. That's where I leave it. That's where I carry it when I do carry it, which is typically only when I'm shooting, because it just kind of looks weird to have a go-to-war belt walking around in your local store. This is going to be a little bit on your heavier side because it is a full-sized, full-frame weapon. That's what you're going to get when you get the larger handguns. What you also are going to get is a little bit better recoil. I can't think of the word now. Recoil is going to be better on the heavier gun, the larger gun. You're also going to get a lot better sight picture because you have longer distance. So you're going to be a little bit more accurate. However, what I have found is most guns are going to be more accurate than what I am ever going to be. So take it for what it's worth. I'm a good shooter. I hit my target. I try to shoot under stress. So, I mean, if you're going to use your weapon in a defensive situation, you're going to be under stress. You're not just going to be all lackadaisical. So one more thing about the Holosun. This is actually the model that has the battery. It also has the solar charger. So I've never replaced the battery in this thing. I really like it. This is the one, and I do mean the only one that I have that I really like. I've got other red dots. I'm just not a big fan of them. I guess I'm just a dinosaur. I'm just old. I like the 3-dot setup, but I did put that on this one, and it has worked fairly well. It's held 0, not had any issues out of it, and the back pressure is really not quite so bad coming out of this shooting with my suppressor. Now, the suppressor that I currently own is a hybrid 46, and unfortunately, even with the suppressor height sights, it does not line up, so you can't see over the suppressor because it is such a big hulking suppressor. I do have another one in prison currently. I'm waiting for the government to give me permission to own my own property. Best I can guess is going to be about another 6 to 7 months, and I hopefully will have that one, and the suppressor height sights will go over that one. I'm actually going to take my everyday carry weapon and pull the suppressor height sights off of it. They're cool, but it's just not anywhere near as functional or as easy as any of my other handguns that I have that all have regular sights. I really like the traditional sights. So now what I've found, since none of these sights are actually raised over my suppressor, if I line them up and I'm aiming at my target, I hit my target. I have had 0 issues hitting my target as long as I line these two up and have an imaginary line. So take it for what it's worth. So let's go ahead and put this puppy back together. This one has actually sat in my safe for a little while because I've just recently been back out shooting. We all are. Those of you who have been around my channel for a long time know that I was recently injured. It's been some time now, and I've been in rehab for a long time. Oh, that feels good. I've been in rehab for quite some time and spent quite a lot of time in the hospital. So just been back out shooting, and I've gotten here recently into SIGs, and I really have enjoyed them. They're wonderful weapons. I just did a video on my P226 I recently purchased. Don't tell my wife, by the way. She doesn't need to know this. I recently just purchased that 226, which I truly love. I still carry my Glocks every day. After shooting the 226 in the double action, or the single action, I really like it. The double action sucks. I am going to add a short reset trigger to it, so it'll have a little bit of that creep gone, a little bit of that mush gone. That's going to be a little bit further down the road when I can afford it more. I mean, I literally just dropped $1,000 on this one, and I want to change the sights out on my other Glock. Other than that, that's what I have for you today. Hope you got something out of the video. If you did, I would appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up. Share it if you'd like to. Subscribe if you haven't. But most importantly, remember, there are a few problems in life that cannot be solved by a battleship broadside. Have a great rest of your day.